I'm joined now by Wasserman Schultz, chairman of the Democratic National Committee. So thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Great to be with you.
Let me start. Let the applause go by. Let me ask you about this "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" question. I think there's been some puzzlement over the last several days that it seems like there are certain people who are sort of not ready for that question, which seems like a fairly easy to anticipate question. What do you think about that? Why were people sort of not ready for that question?
Well, I don't agree that we weren't ready. The answer is absolutely. And if you've only to look at what President Obama...
We did have one prominent no earlier in the week.
We have only to look at what President Obama inherited from President Bush. I mean, in the previous 6 months to him taking office, the economy lost 3.5 million jobs. And when he took office, we were hemorrhaging 750,000 jobs a month. Thanks to his policies, like the Recovery Act, that put a tourniquet on that bleeding and allowed us to begin to get things turned around. And then he focused on making sure we could rescue the American automobile industry and invest in the middle class. We now have had 29 straight months of job growth in the private sector and a resurgence in manufacturing and manufacturing jobs. So we're definitely better off than when President Obama first took office, and we've got a ways to go, but we need to keep moving forward.
So is the number one goal for this convention this week to provide a more affirmative vision of what the last 3.5 years has been like? I think there has been some frustration among some Democrats that there hasn't been a more forceful kind of defense of, not necessarily from you, but just generally from what the president's achieved as the Democrats see it.
Well,
so will we see more of that this week?
Yes, I think you'll see President Obama on Thursday night have an honest conversation with the American people about where we were when he took office and about where we need to go, how we need to make sure that if you work hard and play by the rules, that everyone in America has a chance for success, and that we can ensure that the middle class have an opportunity to have an economy built from the middle class out and bottom up, not the top-down failed policies of the past that Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan want to take us back to, that crashed our economy.
A couple of reporters I've talked to have noted that there's actually an air of real confidence among Democrats about this election and about the president's prospects, and maybe verging even on sort of overconfidence. Do you worry at all about that?
Oh, we're not overconfident, but I can tell you that we are proud that we've stood up the most significant dynamic grassroots presidential campaign. And this week we're putting on the most open, accessible, community-oriented nominating convention in political history, because we use these conventions as an organizing tool. In 2008, we actually signed up 25,000 volunteers on the day that President Obama accepted our party's nomination in Invesco Field, and he's going to accept our nomination in the Bank of America Stadium in front of tens of thousands on Thursday, and he'll lay out the vision and the specifics about how important it is that we continue to fight for the middle class and working families.
Do you see this organizing tool as a way of sort of trying to, if not replicate the excitement of 2008, which is probably impossible, how do you think about trying to sort of match that, make sure that your vote comes out?
Well, I think Americans are proud of the progress that we've made, like the Affordable Care Act that ensures insurance companies can't drop you or deny you coverage, like the 18 different tax breaks for small businesses, like the focus on investing in education so we can out-educate and out-innovate our competitors in the rest of the world, and they don't want to go backward. They want to move forward, and so that's what I think is exciting people, and President Obama's vision to continue to keep fighting to improve our economy. You know, the Republicans basically are trying to push the reset button. They have a love affair with the failed policies of the past and with increasing taxes for the middle class to pay for budget-busting tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. It doesn't make any sense, and I think the choice is going to be pretty clear, but let me tell you, we're taking nothing for granted.
Let me talk a little bit about sort of the pitch to women. There are a lot of women speakers tonight in particular. Obviously, you started off the receptionies. We're going to end with the First Lady later this evening, and we have a lot of women in between. Both parties seem to be making quite a concerted pitch to women voters. Now, I know that we're more than half of the population.
That's right.
But is it just that we all think that men are more set in their votes? And it does seem really sort of notable this time how focused the conventions are on the women's vote.
Well, there's a big difference between the superficial way in which Republicans put women on the stage, but when it comes to their policies, they're wrong on the major issues that matter to women. And what you'll see at this convention, which half of our delegates are women, that's in our party rules, making sure that it's not just words but deeds, like President Obama has done. signing the first bill he signed into law was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. So we could actually, you will, because we put some teeth and some meaning behind equal pay for equal work, and appointing 2 Supreme Court justices that were women, making sure that women's health was a priority, and ensuring that we could have well woman visits and mammograms and colonoscopies and affordable birth control so we could stay healthy. Those are things that, if Mitt Romney had his way, he would take away. He'd end funding for Planned Parenthood. So the contrast, there's a good reason that President Obama is ahead by double digits with women, because women know that it's not just words that matter, it's action. And President Obama has consistently had the backs of women, and women are going to have his back on Election Day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan. Great to be with you.